Alex Poatan Pereira. What this man has achieved in such a short amount of time in the UFC is unbelievable. Without a question, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the biggest stars in mixed martial arts. He's a 2-weight division champion. He's beaten 5 former champions. He's knocking everyone out. He's doing it in devastating fashion. And of course, he's the belle of the ball, the talk of the town. And there's no bigger name in mixed martial arts right now, outside of Conor McGregor, that is, of course, than Alex Poatan Pereira. So take a bow, my friend. Unbelievable. Shamrock, look what I did, whatever the hell that was. Shamrock! But the question is he one of the greatest light heavyweights of all time? Is he in the top 5? Because that is the discussion. People are calling him a GOAT. People are saying that if he was to go up to heavyweight and get a 3rd championship, then he would be a GOAT. He would be the GOAT. He would be pound for pound greatest, the greatest we've ever seen. But is he even on the list of the top 5 light heavyweights that we've ever seen in the UFC? Because the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship has been around since 1997. The first ever champ was Frank Shamrock. There's been a lot of champs since then, okay? So does he make the list? First of all, let's do a little history lesson. Here we go, Wikipedia. Light Heavyweight Championship, the first ever one was Frank Shamrock in 1997. And amazingly, he had 4 title defenses. Next one, Tito Ortiz. There's a name, there's a blast from the past, a Huntington Beach bad boy. My coach on the Ultimate Fighter 3.
Go on, Michael, how much you want it, Michael? Come on. How much do you want it? You want to push yourself?
If you look at the record of Tito Ortiz, 5 defenses on his belt. Granted, a lot of names there you might not recognize. Yuki Kondo, Vladimir Matyushenko, The Janitor, Ken Shamrock, right? But these were big, big names. They were the stars way back then in the year 2000 and 2001. You got to remember that. Of course, next up, Randy the Natural Couture. Never defended it. Vitor Belfort, my old mate.
He is a marvel of modern science.
Then Randy Couture again. Chuck Liddell, one of the biggest stars the sport ever saw. At that time, Chuck Liddell, in 2005, he was the man. He was the man responsible for taking this sport to the mainstream. He was one of the biggest stars we've ever seen, an absolute knockout master and putting people to sleep.
Because it's different than college wrestling.
Oh yeah, it's a little different. It's a little louder, a little faster.
So anyway, the list goes on. Next up, Quinton Rampage Jackson knocked out Chuck Liddell, defended it against Dan Henderson, Forrest Griffin, Rashard Evans, Lyoto Machida, Shogun Rua, and then of course we get to the guy. We get to Johnny Bones Jones. Look at that, 8 title defenses. But he wasn't done there. No, he was stripped because of his arrest and felony and all the shenanigans, shall we say, that he was up to.
Next question, please. Thank you.
In steps DC, defended the belt 3 times. Then Johnny Bones Jones steps back and defends it another 3 times. Then we get to the newest generation, Jan Blachowicz, Glover Teixeira, Jiri Prochazka, Jamal Hill, and then there he is, Alex Poatan Pereira, with just 2 title defenses. So, I've talked a lot. I haven't told you much of my opinions. As I said, I put it on Twitter, and on Twitter, people really got into it. Let's take a look at some of the responses here. Alex Pereira is an insane talent, but is he a top 5 light heavyweight of all time? The stiff competition. What would your list be? I'd go Jones, DC, Alex, Chuck, many more to consider. Rampage, Gustafsson, Machida, Shogun, Ortiz, not in that order. Tough question, what's your top 5, right? And it is a tough question because it's opinion-based. There is no correct answer. It's not based upon numbers. But you do have to look at the number of times these people defended the belts. Also, the impact they made on the sport, the way that they electrified and entertained crowds, the way that they put people to sleep, knocked them out, sold pay-per-views, filled out arenas. So, what is the top 5? Well, number 1, listen, whether you like it or not, you got to go with Johnny Bones Jones. This man defended the belt 11 times. Absolutely insane. Sure, first time out, he only defended it 8 times, right? Rampage, Machida, Evans, Vitor, Chael Sonnen, Gustafsson, Glover Teixeira, and then DC. Then he got stripped.
Huge news coming out that Jon Jones has been stripped of his UFC Light Heavyweight Championship.
But when he came back, he defended it another 3 times. 11 title defenses. There's no argument. Johnny Bones Jones is the greatest light heavyweight of all time. Who comes after that? Well, that's very simple as well. Well, of course, that goes to the one and only DC Daniel Cormier. DC double champ, Strikeforce champ, UFC heavyweight champ, UFC light heavyweight champ. And if it wasn't for Jon Jones, he would have defended the belt way more times. Of course, he did fight Jon twice, and he lost twice. Or maybe it was only 1 time because Jon Jones was stripped of the belt because he failed a drug test. Okay, so picograms were present in Jon Jones.
Pictograms.
I'll peek over him. See that?
Whatever, so maybe he beat him once. But regardless, he did beat him and he fought him twice. But if it wasn't for Jon Jones, DC would have been wrecking shop. He would have been cleaning up. Because remember, their careers, they ran parallel. They were side by side. They were rivals to the absolute max.
I'm not saying I would fight you. I said I would kill you.
John,
do you think?
John, do you think I'm just gonna sit there and let you kill me, John?
And let's remember, this rivalry spilled out into the lobby of the MGM Grand. There was an absolute insane brawl. People were throwing shoes and all the rest of it. But that's what made that rivalry so great. So I say, without a question, DC is at number 2. Now that brings us to number 3. And it's simple. Chuck the Iceman Liddell. We have to put respect on these legends' names. People like Chuck Liddell that were building this sport, knocking people out and entertaining crowds. Chuck the Iceman Liddell, he was one of the breakout superstars of the sport, defended the belt 4 times. Granted, his opponents that he beat, Jeremy Horn, Randy Couture, Renato Sobral and Tito Ortiz, a lot of the new generation, they will not know these names. But the reality is he defended the belt 4 times. Pereira's only defended it twice. You want to talk about aura? You want to talk about entertainment, knockout power? You want to talk about being a fan favorite? Chuck Liddell was all of those things. Yes, Alex Pereira, and by the way, I'm not slagging off Alex Pereira, but everything that he's doing, Chuck Liddell was doing a very, very long time ago. So as I said, number 3, Chuck the Iceman Liddell. Now, new fans are going to like this one. Alex Poatan Pereira, of course, he's in at number 4. Yes, there's other people maybe ahead of him, maybe people that defended the belt more time. But I still think that Pereira has to be considered as one of the greatest light heavyweights that we've ever seen, that we've currently got, that will probably go on and defend the belt many times. Not according to Magomed Ankalaev. Magomed Ankalaev, of course, is the next rightful contender. He's a bad stylistic matchup with the wrestling and the grappling, but he says he's going to knock him out on the feet just to prove a point. Wouldn't advise that approach, Magomed. But still, that's all down the line. Number 4 right now, Alex Pereira, take a bow. And then, of course, we got to give a bit of respect to the natural, okay? Randy the Natural Couture. Running alongside Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, he was one of the breakout early stars. People love this man. He was not only a light heavyweight champion on a number of occasions, he was also a heavyweight champion as well. A 2-weight division champion, just like Alex Pereira, okay? So there's my top 5. Jon Jones, DC, Chuck Liddell, Alex Pereira, Randy the Natural Couture. I feel even bad having Randy under Alex Pereira, and I think he would as well because he's a humble guy. The reality is, the question is he a top 5? The answer is yes, okay? And he wouldn't care where he is on that list. All he cares about is knocking people out and doing it in ridiculous fashion, which is exactly what Alex Pereira was doing. That's why he's getting extra bonuses. He was awarded $303,000 after the fight by Dana White. Just a little thank you, brother. Dana White used to do that back in the day as well. Bonuses all over the place. I miss those days. Anyway, thank you for watching. That's my top 5 of the greatest light heavyweight of all time. What do you think of that list? And what is your top 5? Thanks for watching. Subscribe and ring the bell.